Alright, so what we're going to be doing is we have to pull this motor out because I have to rebuild the top end in this here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take this wire off of the starter, and then we're going to have to pull the stator off because when I redid this, I didn't use a clip. I just clicked them together and then I heated up the heat shrink, so now these shouldn't come off. So we're gonna have to just pull that. See the fuel lines dripping here. I just pulled the tank off, and there's still some fuel in the line. I'm guessing it just wants to drain it out. Angle that up, I guess. There, that's better. But yesterday what I did off camera, okay, if it's just gonna fall down, I'll just there, have it like that. Because if it's gonna drip, I may as well just let it drain. But yesterday I took the those bars right there behind the exhaust off, and I took the exhaust off. I was originally gonna be replacing this rear sprocket, so I put that back on. Now I'm not. But we have a few things that we got to get done. So what all is coming is I'm gonna be putting tubes in these tires, so I got to get rid of these valve stems, and then I got to get the tube in there and inflate them up, because they're split rims, they leak, both of them, and they're both kind of dry rotted, and I don't want to spend the money on new tires, especially when they have such good tread, because they were brand new but they were just left outside. Second of all, got to get the brakes working. So these brakes, they do work, but they are really hard to get into this thing here and to be hooked up. Also got to hook up the actual fluid brakes. They have nothing in them. Both of these are brand new units. You can tell they're nice and clean. So all that's required to pull the motor is, I already got one of the motor mounts out yesterday. That was right there. Second one we gotta get out is right there, so you'd probably have to pull the stator anyway, or maybe you could sneak a socket in there, but it'd be kind of a hassle. So that's about everything I think that we gotta do. But before we pull the motor, we're gonna have to drain the oil, and I'm gonna want to reuse this oil, so I'm gonna drain it into probably just a bottle again, a bottle it came in. I'll try and do that. But yeah, once this rebuild kit is in, I got new exhaust studs coming. Then I can, it'll be up and running. I gotta figure out these electronics here, because even when the key is on, these all do nothing. So I think maybe if I clean up the contacts and the connector over there, or I clean up the contacts inside of these buttons. I already did that once, but maybe it could use a little more. But I rebuilt this part here, so I'm guessing it's probably the wires down there. But that's basically it for this quad. I plan on maybe in the future getting some new Nerf, or not new Nerf bars, but new straps for it, because you can see they're all basically gone. And the seat's perfect, honestly. The seat's very nice. Definitely needs new plastics. Both of the rear fenders are cracked, but for now, it'll do. The front plastics are actually fine. I think they could just use a coat of paint and a couple little repairs. They're not bad. Let's see. Just needs probably like some paint. All right. So, got a Phillips screwdriver here. We're just gonna start taking that off. Hopefully it doesn't give any troubles. Looks like it's coming off just fine. There we go. That's one out of the two connectors off. That little bolt there. There's the ground on the back. I gotta get that one off too. So, this little quad, they're usually, relatively reliable because this is a Honda based engine, but this is not a Honda, as you can probably tell. This is a, it's modeled off of 2005 because that's when this thing was produced. It's modeled off of a 2000 Yamaha Raptor 90, I believe. Maybe it was a bigger motor than a 90, but I believe it was still pretty small. This one here is just a 110. Nothing big, but for free, it's a great deal. Got this from my friend. Well, I guess I could unclick that there, but I'd rather have less wires on the engine than more. I believe this is going to be an 8mm. It's either an 8 or a 10, but I think it might have been an 8. So, let me get that. Got the wrench here. So, yep, it should be going the right way. That one was already loose. Ooh. We're gonna try not to, hopefully we don't damage the gasket. So I don't really want to do like RTV or anything. I don't really have much of a place to put these. Let me grab a, oh no. Alright. These little magnetic holes, all the bolts in. There are two different lengths of bolts, I believe, in this here thing. There's like a couple long ones. I believe this one here is a long one. Yeah, this one's a long one. Man, you just gotta crack them loose and then they come. That's pretty nice. That one was a short one, and I believe there's one right here. Might have to take off the shifter. Let's see if we can sneak around that. No. Oh. Alright. That should be better. Yeah. So, try and sneak this out. Perfect. Apologize for that. I'm not sure what happened. But, not sure how far back it paused there, but got the rest of this unbolted. Gotta take off the shifter. Forgot about that step. So take off my 8mm. Put on my 1332. Because my 10mm broke, or it cracked. So I gotta get a new one. Hopefully it's just it's a little stiff. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so this thing, got it for free from my friend. Yeah. So basically it does run, and when it's running, it runs okay, I'd say. But the only problem is that it smokes a lot. And that's not okay. That's what you don't want. Hopefully the gasket doesn't. Oh yeah. Ooh, that wasn't very smart of me. I gotta take the shifter off. That's the whole point of unbolting it. Set that on the ground. And now it comes off. And is the gasket okay? Looks to be. But yeah. There's a new stator in here. I replaced the old one. I'm gonna have to put something over this while the engine's out. The engine's probably not gonna be back in immediately. Clean up that gasket. Goes the other way. But there we go. Now you can see the plywood here. And this thing, it blows a lot of smoke, and it also blows out the side of the head. The head gasket is bad, and it leaks oil out the bottom here. Let me show you that. Look right here on the exhaust. It's all sorts of oily. Don't even want to put my finger in there. It's all blurry. But you can see that all right there. You look at the head right here, it's all dirty right here. That's where the head gasket's blown out. Blows a whole bunch of smoke out of there. That reminds me of another thing, gotta unhook the spark plug. May as well just pull it out. Check to see how it's been running. It's definitely not going to be great because, you know, it's burning a lot of oil. But when it's running, it runs fine. It has to stay on choke, but this is a new spark plug, so spark plug's looking fine, I'd say. Yeah, not bad at all. It sure is oily. Super slippery. So we're gonna take the plug and we're just gonna set it over here for now on the table. It's kind of sporadic over here. It's just a whole bunch of my junk. Maybe I'll do another video on that thing. It runs, but it's just not running great. And the snowblower part doesn't work, and it's got some flat tires. Over there, that John Deere, not the Honda, that's my friend's. I'm at same one who gave me this quad. Tried fixing it, but it doesn't have spark. It's not doing great. But this John Deere right there, it needs a motor put into it, needs tires, probably some other things. The steering is locked up. Probably can get that undone. But right now we're going to be focusing on this project because this is the one that I've got parts ordered for and everything. Right now we got the advanced jack system, which is just a block and a cinder brick at the front there. So now we got that off. Now it should be, that's off, wires are off. Now I should probably be able to pull this. I think I'm going to pull the carb off first, though. I'm going to pull the carb off before I take it off the machine. And I'm going to bring this carb inside because I don't want this carb getting all in the rain. You can already see elements have kind of got to it. If it'll focus. Yeah, it's a little rusty. But this is a brand new carb. If it would focus, holy moly. A brand new filter. Both of these are new. Not this came with the motor. And the reason this is angled forward instead of most of these where it's angled back is because this actually used to have an air box out here. Let me show you that. The air box was this piece will come off. Here, give me a... Alright, so this piece would go onto here. Then that's where the intake would be, and that's, I guess, where it's supposed to get its air from, but that's really restrictive and probably why these made so little from the factory. It's definitely not going to make much now, after I put all things on it, but I don't know. Basically, it's got a cold air intake on it. That's what I'll call it, I guess. So let's get back to unbolting the... I think I'll unbolt the carb first. Alright. So now it's time to take this bolt off. Sorry, the carb bolts. So that should be nice and easy. They're a little tight. I do not have a new gasket for these either, so hopefully it doesn't have any problems when I take it off. One bolt. Gotta go on the other side for that one. Gotta take the extension out. Holy moly. Drop that in there. Perfect. Put my extension back on because it makes it easier to loosen. Maybe it doesn't. Oh, it's being a little finicky. But once this thing is getting finished up, I'm gonna secure the wiring in place more and everything. Filter could be better, but it'll do. It'll probably be fine. So pull that off, push that forward. But now it's time to pull this here bolt out. Got to get a wrench on the other side here for this nut. That should be just about it for pulling this motor out of here. Then we gotta cover up this. Maybe I'll just bring a bag out and put the carb and that inside a bag so I don't have to undo the throttle cable and undo wiring and stuff. Put them in like a plastic bag or something so that the mice and stuff and rain doesn't get in it, because that's what I'm most worried about. Mice, as long as they don't eat my wires, I'm good, and they probably won't. It probably won't be like that long enough for it to do anything. Hopefully I get the parts before it snows again. It snowed yesterday, but it's all melted by now. So yeah, let's get to work on that bolt there. Oh, I should probably dump the oil first. That'd be smart. So let's do that, I guess. So I have a bit of a crude setup going on here. I got the jacks in the front and I put the rear on a battery that I found laying around. And I'm gonna have to use this, so I'm just gonna take the lid off, and I'm hoping it looks like it's burned enough oil in there where it'll probably just go into the cup. But that's just what I hope. I don't think I have a wrench or a socket to that's that size. I'm thinking maybe, first guess, yeah, 17. So this is gonna drip everywhere. I know it. I think I might put that other motor mount back in, because the engine's got a hole in, or the skid plate's got a hole in the bottom for, ooh yeah, I forgot this thing is not perfect. That should be a lot better. Yeah, that'll be, get that into the ground there. Got some rocks so it can go a little smoother. Don't want this thing tipping over. Alright, so let's see here. Oh no, that would not be good if it was pouring when I did that. I'm trying not to drop this into the cup, but knowing me, let me get that out of the way so you can see it a bit better. Still can't see great, but I'm hoping for no metal chunks, and I'm hoping that I don't drop it into the cup. Oh, it's so close. There we go. That's not much at all. Let me take the cap off here. See if it'll go a little faster. Oh yeah, let's sped up a little bit. That oil isn't looking great. That oil is not oil colored. So that's not great. I'm not sure. It could be gas in the oil, but I'm pretty sure that would just make it liquidy, but this does look pretty liquidy. So I'm gonna take a big old whiff of it and see, or once it's done, I'm gonna take a big whiff of it and see if it smells like gas or something. So it's done draining. I got the plug back in, as you can see, and that doesn't look very good. Yeah, I can smell some gas, I'm thinking. Here, yeah, it's gas. There's gas in this. So that is definitely because of the rings being all not good. But that's the new McDonald's drink, I heard. Or that I put the lid at. There we go. There you go. Look at that. It's a vegan drink. It's made entirely from plants. You know? Hay. But alright, now we can pull the motor. Alright. Now it's time to finally get to pulling this motor. I think I'm gonna get the battery out from under this thing first, because I like to sit on the tire, and now it's not really stable. You can pull this back one out here. Perfect. So, got one out. Now it's time to work on the other. My assumption was right, it's a 10 and a 12. So, let's hook that up over there. Whew, it's tight. See if I can set this up so it's just against something, so I can put more force on this side. And I can. Does that mean the bolt came off? It does not. Oh, the bolt's starting to resist now. That's why. There we go. Now that bolt's out. Now I can just ratchet on this side. A nice impact would be good, but I don't got that in the budget. The budget, 0. Alright, we've come to an issue. That doesn't want to. There it goes. And it's out. Where'd this bolt come from? We'll let it do that then. Let's put this nut back on this end so we know what goes where. And now, oh, almost forgot about that one right there. That wouldn't have been great. Little plug-in for neutral lights and reverse light up here. So pull that back over here. Get this out of the way. Tuck it back over this way. It's good enough. Tuck it behind that. There. Get that over here. Now I think this should be good for me to pull the engine out. Double check. Spark plug's out, carb is off. Wires are all undone. Perfect. You probably shouldn't pick this up by the starter, but just such a good spot. Ugh. This is a little 110 unit, or I guess 107 technically, but when I'm doing the rebuild, I'm definitely gonna clean this thing because it's a bit dirty. And if I'm rebuilding it, may as well clean all this dirt and gunk out and clean all this. That's not good right there. Split. Hopefully that's just in the mount and not in the actual motor. Shouldn't be in the motor, but guess next time I hook it into the thing, I'll just, bolt it down extra hard, pinch that back together. You can see down here it's real dirty. But probably I'm gonna clean all this here out. Crooked. Guess it wants to be crooked. It's putting up too much of a fight for me to care. Bring this guy back down over here. Then we can set up something over all this. I'm not sure what yet. Bring the carb down with it. Put them together and just wrap them up in something. Probably a bag, like I said. But now this thing's ready for... Perfect. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Got the motor out, pulled off the side covers and the shifter and everything. Nice. So anyway, see you in part 2. Bye. Alright, so I've got something interesting to show you today. I didn't get it on camera because it was a really huge pain in the butt to do, but now we got tubes in these front tires. They're holding air. It's the next day after I did them. And they're still solid. Both of them. So that's real nice. Got all the parts except for the rebuild kit yesterday. So, got the exhaust gas skits and studs. We got the chain. Now all we need is the rebuild kit. But this thing is feeling a lot bigger than it was. Like, I fit on this thing pretty fine. And, for instance, I'm 5'11", so that's probably a lot bigger than the average user of one of these. Oh, my camera looks a little blurry. But, yeah, this thing's gonna be pretty nice to ride around. Once we get the motor in, if it'll start. then we can start putting all the plastics on, bolting them up, because right now they're all unbolted and everything. Missing a plastic right here. It's supposed to hold the neutral and either reverse or overheating light. Not sure which one that is. I can't tell if it's a reverse light and it just doesn't work because it doesn't turn on when I put it in reverse, or if it's a hot light when it's getting too hot, because it hasn't gotten hot yet, because it just burns so much oil. I mean, you can look at this pipe here. It burns so much oil that it doesn't stay running very long. It doesn't idle. It didn't. So hopefully, once this rebuild kit is in, this whole area will be doing a lot better. Got to kind of fix up this here fuel line, because before it was kind of leaky, but my petcock works. That's nice. You can see it starts leaking a little bit when I turn it, so that's good. I think I'm going to try and clean some of this gunk off the bottom here. Get it nice and clean for when the rebuild is, or when the engine's in and everything. But now this thing rolls really good. Used to be real hard to roll just because of the front tires being flat all the time. I think they might need a little more air, but they turn good too. My tie rods, they're busted up and all, but they still turn fine. Look at that, it rolls when I try and turn it now. And just kind of push it and it goes. So that's real nice. Took about an hour for each one of these. It took a long time. It was a pain. And it was really hard on the first one I did because I didn't use soap the first time. Next time I used soap and it made it a lot quicker. If anyone wants these things, you can have them. Except for this case saver, I might try and use that. And these here bolts. These are all the bolts for the plastics. All the plastics are unbolted. They just kind of stay in place because it doesn't move much. And they have a couple of clips left. Like this thing, it's got 2 clips on this side, 0 on that side. So it clips into this side nice. The bolts will probably hold that in. This thing definitely needs some new plastics, but plastics are real expensive, and this thing isn't. I don't really think it's worth spending all that money on. But once the motor's in, we got to focus on a couple of things before we can get it ripping. We got to get these here brakes working. 'Cause these cords like to pop out. They're real hard to get in. They're hard to get out too. Then we got to fill up the master cylinder here and bleed the rear brakes. Get them working. I might just only do the rear brakes depending on how hard it is, because you know, these are the better brakes. It's a disc instead of drums up front, you know. So this thing feels a heck of a lot taller, but this thing's real nice now. You know, it's looking nice. That's a little update from yesterday. If the parts come today for the motor, I'll get some footage of the engine build going down. Hopefully I can find a grease gun so I can, you know, do them. That'd be nice. But yeah, I just wanted to update everyone on what's going on with it, and you know, just how it's going. Got the tubes in, and that's about it. But took a while, and they look pretty nice. I got these cool little things that came with them. They're cooler than the normal ones. I don't think the back ones even have covers. Oh, that one does. That one doesn't. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the old one. Got one. Now this is not going to get mud in it and stuff. Fun thing. So there are actually, four-wheelers are called Kazumas, I believe. And they are basically exactly the same as these ones, except they have 3 lugs instead of 4. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if they still make Kazumas. They don't make these. These were made for a really short period of time. They're Red Cat. Red Cat now makes RC cars, I think. Another thing I might try and do, and I might try and get Nerf bars, because right now they aren't very good at Nerf barring. So, at least this part of the fender's left. That's kind of helpful, so I don't kick the wheel while I'm riding, hit a bump or something, my wheel gets knocked off. That'd kind of suck. That's why we need brakes too, so that we can stop. Front brakes do work though, that's good. But that's just a quick update. Once we get all the stuff ready, once the motor's in and running, we're gonna fix up the wiring, get the brakes going, put the bumper and screw in all the plastics and everything. This thing should be running mint and be looking fine. Of course, it'll never be looking great because it's missing that fender and the plastics are a little messed up. Maybe I can paint them or something, but, you know, otherwise, it's nice.